So what do I do when I can't eat enough food because my appetite is low? The answer to that either has to do with my dose or what to eat when I'm not hungry. And from my experience, when it comes to microdosing, it's usually the latter. So in this video, I'll go over why having too low of an appetite is a problem, my favorite ways to eat food when I'm not hungry, and when I might need to lower my dose. I'm eco nutrition coach microdosing tirzepatide to help control my binge eating and to lose some vanity weight. Having a low appetite while taking a GLP-1 is common. It's really one of the main benefits of taking it when it comes to helping with weight loss. But having too low of an appetite can be an issue because not being able to eat enough can lead to rapid weight loss, which then can lead to things like muscle loss, fatigue, hair loss, etc. Now, just because we lose too fast doesn't always mean we automatically get a bunch of the rapid weight loss stuff. It's just the chances of getting them goes up if we're losing weight too fast for extended periods of time. I'll put a chart here to show how much weight I prefer to lose per week, so you can pause the video to take a look at it. But losing above 1% per week is what I consider to be rapid weight loss territory. Like if I was 200 pounds and I was losing more than 2 pounds per week for more than a few weeks, then that's a bit aggressive and I'm taking a risk. But there are times when losing weight really fast for short periods of time can be done safely, but I won't go over that in this video. All right, let's go over a few of my favorite ways I like to eat with a low appetite. First is liquid calories or drinking my calories. Solid foods take longer to digest, and being on a GLP-1 makes them take even longer, which is great for when we're not hungry, but terrible when our appetite is low, mostly because it means we might not be able to eat enough for the day. Liquid calories are the opposite. They usually digest faster, and it's much easier to get in calories that way. I typically have things like ready-to-drink protein drinks or things like fruit smoothies, but there's a ton of other options out there. And side note, if you're having a fruit or vegetable smoothie, you got to be careful with the fiber because that can make digestion even slower, which would defeat the purpose of drinking liquid calories with a low appetite, but having it on the days you're hungry might be the better choice. Next is tasty foods and added flavors. These just make food taste better, so think like soy sauce, condiments, dipping sauces, and things like that. When things are tastier, I tend to eat more of it, which is useful for when I'm not hungry. And this is related to the next point, which is calorie-rich foods. Calorie-rich foods can be anything like nuts, dates, fatty meats like salmon, or it could be things like fast food, desserts, a lot of really tasty foods at restaurants, stuff like that. By the way, this is peanut butter on toast, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, before microdosing, when I would lose weight, I would stay away from these types of foods, mostly because they tend to digest fast, and I'll get hungrier sooner. But also, I might eat more than I'm supposed to, which is not good for losing weight. But after I got on tirzepatide, I think they're really useful for when my appetite is low and I'm having a hard time eating. Plus, they usually taste good, which, like we just covered earlier, can help me eat more. I just got to make sure the food sits well with me because sometimes these calorie-rich foods, especially after shot day, can give me nausea. It's typically the fatty stuff, but also sometimes like really processed foods. Now, the thing that worries people about eating these types of foods is that they might not lose weight while eating them, which is totally possible. But from my experience, if my dose is right, my GLP-1 keeps me in check. And plus, I track how much I'm eating so I don't go overboard with it. Okay, next is convenient foods. Sometimes when I'm not hungry, I forget to eat and suddenly my energy is really low. When that happens, the last thing I want to do is think about what to eat or cook any food. So having easy to prepare convenient foods is really useful. This can be either heat and eat type foods that are already cooked, I just need to heat it up, but I usually just eat them cold because I'm lazy. Or it can be snacks like packaged foods or drinks, kind of like this Fairlife protein drinks or these crackers. Or it could be things like this, which is just pre-cooked foods from fast food restaurants. Like this is just chicken, rice, and vegetables from Panda Express, and this is just chicken, rice, and some veggies and beans and stuff from Chipotle. It's just all cooked meals and I don't have to prep it from scratch. Now, what's cool about all these methods we went over is that you can combine them. For example, if I combine all of them, it would be something like a chocolate milkshake. It's liquid calories, it's calorie rich, it tastes good, and it's convenient if I buy it from Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or something. And you know what? A better example would just be like ice cream. That way I don't have to go out and buy it or get it delivered. I just have it in my freezer ready to go. But yeah, these are a few ways I like to eat with a low appetite. If you like these, I got more down in the link below. So sometimes having a low appetite isn't a food problem and more so a dose problem, as in my dose might be a little bit too high for me. How I know it's too high is when I have too much appetite suppression, and how I know that usually comes down to how I feel with my GLP-1 throughout the week. So a common response to taking a GLP-1 is having a lot of appetite suppression after we take our shot, but then as the week goes by, it wears off and we become hungrier a few days before our next shot. When my appetite suppression and my dose is too high, I'm not hungry throughout the whole week, like after I take my shot and before my next one. Pretty much my appetite suppression just feels the same the whole week. And on top of that, if I get really full fast or looking at food makes me feel sick, then that's a good sign I need to lower my dose. From what I remember, there were 2 times when I lowered my dose because I was taking too much. It was in the beginning when I increased my dose a bit too much too soon. Like here, I jumped up in dose pretty fast, but then I immediately felt too much appetite suppression, so I had to lower it. And then here, I slowly lowered it throughout the weeks because for some reason, I just couldn't eat enough food even though I'd been at the same dose for a few months already. So how I responded to it just suddenly changed, but eventually I did go back up. That was a weird time, but luckily it didn't last too long. Anyways, that's the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching. Bye.